They chillin' in Alaska, swimming in Atlanta, Vultures out in Baltimore, they Kira, Carolina, they wildin' in Chicago, howlin' down in Big D, Mile High in Denver, that Tallahassee pride is deep, they lunchin' in Vancouver, Desperado shootin', the Renegades on the loose, the hyenas lootin', gold out in QC, who higher than them sparrows, the Furies swooping in divine order for the pharaohs, Indy on the rise, the Sharks about to mash, Gladiators, Knights and Aztecs about to clash. Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party. First and 10, I'm so aggressive. The end zone, the game plan, no pressure. They gotta pay me how they measure me. You know these haters on my back like the referee. You know I'm in it to win it. Game day, I'm about my business, I gotta get it. So I'm all about my ends. And these non-stop wins. They can't touch us, can't touch us. We turning up on these suckers. You know the D brought the rockets. Cause we tighter than the huddles. Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party. Yeah. Third down is going down. Round the pound, oh, we gotta air them out. That's why I gotta hit the route. Hit the flat if I catch it, then I'm out. Fourth and inches gotta take. YOLO, just no pump fake. So tighten up and hit the power high. The audible to draw them off sides.
Ryan Michaels gets a block midfield. Ryan Michaels, he could be gone. Trying to be comfortable behind, he will not. Touchdown, Houston.
Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party.
Yola shakes it. Oh my goodness, and Yola gets away. Yola on the first play for Tallahassee is going to score again. Left side, Odom gets away. Odom breaks another tackle. Gosh, Odom, you've got to be kidding me. Big chase, 10-1 touchdown. Oh my word.
Tonight, two teams that are red hot in the Eastern Conference. The Baltimore Vultures, winners of their last two, under the direction of new head coach Thomas Paterniti, and the Chicago Wildcats, winners of two of their last three, and a rejuvenized offense that features a few brand new faces into primetime on Monday night. It's the Fan Night Game of the Week from Baltimore, and it starts right now. Welcome to Maryland, ladies and gentlemen, for the Week 7 nightcap between the 2-3 Chicago Wildcats and the 3-3 Baltimore Vultures, winning overwhelmingly the Fan Night poll from this past week. Alongside Mark Lopez on stats, Stephen Mullenax, I'm Cameron Irvine. Stephen, how you doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. Glad to be here for some Monday Night Football here. The SFL presenting its best in prime time Fan Night. And we've got two teams here, the Chicago Wildcats and the Baltimore Vultures, who are much different teams than what they looked like when they started the season. For Chicago, don't forget, they are just one season removed since a trip to the chip. And for Baltimore, new faces means an exciting new direction. Both teams coming off big wins in Week 6. Let's see which one pulls it out here on Fan Night here in the SFL.
Fan Night is about to get underway on the SFL Network on Twitch. Jesus Garcia has the ball on the tee and the hand in the air, and the Chicago Wildcats kick it, and we're underway. From the 11, Vultures on the return. Out to the 28-yard line, that's Daly Holder. Mike Dazzo, one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in SFL history, will take the field. Baltimore in the black helmets, red jerseys. Chicago in the silver helmets and the bright whites tonight.
Well, Dazzo absolutely dazzling in his last performance. 32 of 50, 409 yards, 4 touchdowns in a big win against London.
First and 10 of the 28. This is Dazzo, and Dazzo's first pass of the night is caught by Garen Money Malone. Since we last saw Baltimore in primetime, Stephen, the last time actually was when they handed Queen City their only loss of this season. But since then, Garen Malone earned a new nickname after that brilliant performance he had against London.
Yeah, the second-year guy out of Houston, really playing up here to number 1 receiver status for the Vultures, coming alive for them here as the season progresses.
Second and 3, Dazzo, and Holder stole it from T. Roy Gaines. Nat lost 2 yards. Stephen, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I mean, he took it away from him, no question.
Yeah, that's an absolute diva TO type move right there. You want to be involved in the passing game early. Well, I'll just snatch this one from my teammate and try to get me some yardage.
And it lost, too, and Gaines had to turn around and block to no avail. Now 3rd down and 5. Dazzo straight back, fires into traffic, and Daly Holder says, keep giving me the ball, and put it away from T-Roy. First down.
Yeah, I know that previous play was kind of funny looking, but the fact is you want your receivers to go and get the football. You don't want them to sit there and wait for it. There, just a nice delivery from Dazzo to Daly. Good connection. They're right in the middle of the field on the slant route.
That's a great way to start Fan Night with a little oddity out there with Holder stealing that one away from Gaines. Now T-Roy Gaines on his first carry. Bulls over a defender. Who was that? Maurice Spurgeon. Sorry, man. So sorry. First down to the 38.
Yeah, tough way to open the game there as a defender in that first series. Just allowing Gaines to get his shoulder right into the middle of your shoulder pads. Look, this is a powerful guy here, a rookie, second-round pick, 22nd in the second round, actually. The rookie's at 6'2", 240 is a load.
Gaines again, left side. Gaines near a first down out to the 28-yard line. 100 bits from T. Paterniti and Squires or Nightingale. Here early on the broadcast tonight. Also 100 from Ochitona, 11 from very early up in the chat. Welcome in everybody to Fan Night. It's a second down and inches at the 28. 8:43 to go in the first. Baltimore on the move on their opening drive. 3rd straight handoff around the left side of Gaines. Picks up a first down to the 26. Dylan Rowland's second tackle.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They see something on the left side of this line here that Baltimore really likes, and the Vultures running game really coming alive early. That just takes the pressure off the guy that you see on the screen there. And Dazzo, that's going to allow him to have some wide open passes here later in this series or in this game.
First and 10 to the 26. Outside caught. Carroll tackled by Hamrick after an 8-yard gain. Now into the red zone to the 17-yard line. A 3-minute drive that Baltimore is sucking out of Chicago here.
Yeah, and Carroll, the former Dallas Roughneck, is coming off a career game last week. 220 receiving yards and a touchdown against London. So this guy, number 88, is not somebody you want to see get hot early.
200 bits from Ron Cochran. Thank you, Ron. Second down and 2 at the 17. 7:40 to go in the first, no score. Baltimore on the move, handoff, Gaines, first down inside the 15, down to the 12, pickup of 5 more. A.J. Barnes in the area, and then rolling over and hurt is free safety Jeremy Lane, playing in the slot tonight. And the last thing Chicago needs is somebody going down on their defense.
Yeah, this is, it looks like he just gets on the back of Gaines, brings him down, may have rolled over there on something. Really hard to see, too much congestion. But as far as Gaines is concerned, really impressed by his patience there to follow his blockers. And then when you saw that he saw just a slimmer of light, that little speed boost there to get the extra yardage.
1st and 10 at the 12, 7:37, first quarter. Gaines left side, Gaines inside the 10, down to the 7, a 5-yard gain. Rowland another tackle. I have a feeling Dylan Rowland is on T-Roy duty tonight as Baltimore's trying to get points on their opening drive.
Yeah, Rowland had a 10-tackle performance last week in a win over Indianapolis. And as you said, if he's got number 34 in his sights, he's going to have a more than 10 tackles tonight.
4-minute drive for the Vultures, winners of 2 straight. Handoff, Gaines, running left, Gaines 5, Gaines truck down to the 1. And again, Spurgeon was in the area, although I don't think he was the first to go down. We'll get another look at it.
Well, not as speedy as we've seen him earlier, maybe getting a little bit winded, but certainly has the strength and the power to push through there. I mean, a defensive secondary's nightmare is number 34, putting 240 pounds worth of strength into your shoulder pads.
Spurgeon actually saved the touchdown there. 1st and goal at the 1. Chicago making him earn it. Handoff, Gaines again, left, Gaines, touchdown, walking it in, and Baltimore has no problem on the opening possession with the Wildcats.
Well, you're the Vultures offensive coordinator. Got to love what you saw here. Everything just simply worked the way that you wanted to. Here on this final run play, again to the left goes Gaines. Not exactly, not really having to use much of his speed, but using his vision and able to go into the end zone untouched.
Extra point coming. The kicker for the Vultures is Shark Tarkington, undrafted rookie. He's had a solid rookie debut. And the extra point is good for Baltimore. 7-0. The Vultures give E.T. King a deficit before he hits the field. Looking at the updated playoff standings, remember the top 2 teams in each conference get the first round bye. So far, Tallahassee and Alaska are at the top, 7-0. Carolina is 3rd, 6-0 after their win over London. Queen City's 4th, 6-1. Mexico City 5th, 5-1. And Atlanta brings up the rear at 4-3. They get the 6th seed as the 2nd team in the South. Wild card standings right now. Sioux Falls is 4-2. They are 7th and would host that wild card game. Houston and Baltimore are tied for 8th. And then Denver and Tulsa are tied for 10th. Tiebreakers and all that will be broken down later in the season. 1st and 10 of the 26th. We'll get Steven's thoughts on the current playoff slate here after this play. First, it's 3 backs in the backfield for E.T. King. And the handoff around the left side is going nowhere as Takes brings him down. A loss of 1. That's the new running back, Jared Willis. So, Steven, what do you think about the current playoff picture?
Well, as we've said before, the cream rises to the top, and we've obviously got a top-tier level of teams. Some of them, of course, we expected, like Alaska, Tallahassee, and some we didn't, like Carolina. I really think Carolina is the story of the season. 2nd
down and 11. King against a blitz, going deep, and the pass is overthrown. Buchanan Simons was wide open, and King rushed the throw. 3rd down and 11. There are so many new faces on this offense.
Yeah, there are. They really trimmed the fat here in Chicago, and that's really helped their team, Cam. They've been flying ever since and just look like a whole different squad. But you're right. There are a lot of new names and faces and numbers to learn.
Empty backfield, 5 wide for King, who's trying to avoid a 3-and-out after his defense was on the field for 4.5 minutes. King, deep ball down the field, incomplete. What a hit over the middle. That was Tony Willis, who's been playing stellar football since winning a championship in Alaska.
Yeah, tough for Austin there to make that catch. But this is a wide receiver that had 43 yards and a touchdown last week. So they like to use this role player in the middle of that field. But I think if you're Chicago, that's 2 passing opportunities there that probably should have been completed. And so that means that there is some open space and open lanes out there. Receivers just have to make the play, or King's going to have to make a better throw.
5:55 to go in the first quarter, and Baltimore is going to get the ball back. They had an easy time on their first possession with Chicago. Not an easy time there for Daley Holder on the return. Hit right as he caught the pass, or caught the punt, rather, at the 40. And Mike Dazzo comes out for his second possession.
Well, that first series was all about Troy Gaines. 7 attempts and 43 yards and a touchdown on the first. What a solid start for the rookie runner.
Chat shout-outs coming. Prepare yourselves. 5:47 to go in the first. Dazzle will throw. This is a screen out to Gaines. Gaines gets a block, and T. Roy Gaines lost the dash off his name there as Hamrick throws him out of bounds after a pickup of 7.
And what a solid job there by Dazzo. We see so many SFL quarterbacks throw that ball slightly late, leading that running back out of bounds. Here, Dazzo able to deliver a timely pass to give the running back an opportunity to cut up field and get those 7 yards.
TMG 82, Eric JDWA, T. Paterniti, Kinda Kinsley, Ocho Tona 11, Black Star 1014, and Hendricks Thornberry and many others in the chat. T. Roy gets a block, first down, makes a man fall backwards and picks up a move of the sticks to the Chicago 42-yard line. Stephen Baltimore looking unstoppable in the first quarter.
And Gaines has been getting gains, and the reason is he's not only getting good blocking, but like here, boom, able to really punish whoever tries to make that first tackle, giving him even more yardage.
Spurgeon, that's strike 2. The veteran getting rocked here. 6th season in the SFL. 4:58 to go in the first. Gaines will get it again. And T. Roy Gaines is just throwing players around. Jesse Vick, and it looks like Lane is done for the day, but Vick is the last player to go down. He was the 5th pick in the draft.
Yeah, look, and again, it's exactly the same formula we just talked about. Great blocking combined with T. Roy Gaines' ability to make that first contact really hurt the defender and put him on his back. That they have really found something here early, and I want to see Chicago's defense adjust.
And the Wildcats do finally get a tackle. Clint Hendershot, who's been quiet tonight, gets him right around the line of scrimmage. Chicago's run defense not so good this season. They are 16th, giving up 115.6 yards per game. Third down and 3. This is, I think, the first third down, maybe the second third down of the quarter for Baltimore. No problem for Gaines. Breaks the tackle, first down to the 26. T. Roy Gaines, 70 yards on 11 carries.
Well, he's got that rare combination of acceleration and explosiveness, Cam. And if he can get into the secondary, it is just bad news for the opposing defense. And give a lot of credit to his blockers and the game plan. They're just really what they're doing all together as a unit is really working early. And here they are already in field goal range again.
First and 10 of the 26. Dazzo's out of the gun. 3:28 to go first quarter. Vultures lead 7-0 on fan night. And Dazzo's going long, and it's incomplete. Way to cut that route off by Jesse Vick, intended for Malone. 100 Hall of Fame bits from Matt Wilson in the chat, and I can tell they're from a Hall of Famer.
How can you tell?
Oh, I can tell. Not all bits are created equal. There's Hall of Fame bits. There's attention-grabbing bits. That's otherwise known as Andy Hamilton bits. Second and 10 at the 26. 2 in the backfield. Handoff Gaines. This time right up the... Check that. Gaines out of the game for a break. And instead, that is running back Damon Morehouse, 5'9", 222 checking in, and he picks up 7.
Well, that just tells you what a great game plan that is when the second running back can come in and provide you with 7 yards on a second down to make this 3rd and 3. It's just a great game plan that's being constructed here against Chicago.
2:52 to go in the first. Dazzo in the red zone. Pass wide open. Caught over the middle. First down to Carroll at the 10 as Baltimore sneaks Carroll into the slot.
And you know what? All this is doing is resting T-Roy Gaines. He's on the sideline. He's going to get rested up to try and make this punch this into the end zone. In the meantime, Baltimore isn't missing a beat without him on the field.
I tell you what, Chicago needs a break defensively. This is offensive play number 20 of the quarter for Baltimore. Holder with a reception. Chicago's had 3 offensive plays in the first quarter.
Holder with a great route there on the 50X spot, able to come inside like he's going to slant. He's on a slant route and then go outside quickly, and he's wide open there on that medium out, and makes this a 2nd and 3.
100 bits from A.J. Levy, the old ball coach. 2nd and 3 from the 3. It's a screen out to Gaines, and Gaines walks in again, and probably they should have thrown Vic for a late hit. No matter, Vultures just all over Chicago tonight.
Well, we've seen Gaines use his power certainly tonight. We've seen him use his vision here, able to use his speed as he secures the ball, and then he's got the juice to get into the end zone without anyone even being close to really touching him. Just an excellent job there all around, and the perfect play calls, Cam. I mean, Baltimore simply didn't flinch at all there on offense, except maybe that one long deep pass out deep left. But boy, just near perfection for the Vultures here early.
Extra point is good. Did you just say nay? That was very sophisticated of you. In a sentence, you use nay in a sentence? That is a new level of top-tier analytical talent right there.
Well, you just never know what's going to come out of this mouth.
200 bits from Rob Roby, 100 from Thomas Paterniti. Thank you both. So Baltimore has had 21 offensive plays to Chicago's 3 with 1:47 to go in the first quarter. Chicago has no yards of offense. In fact, -1 yards of offense. And the Wildcats have never even had an opportunity to get going in this game as Corey Carter returns up to the 29.
Yeah, we really don't know what we're going to see out of the Wildcats offensively. You just can't really judge it off those 3 initial plays. That one was an overthrow, and one was probably a pass that should have been caught. And they really haven't gone to their best offensive weapon, which has been, since signing last week, Jared Willis. So maybe we see a little bit more of him like we do right now.
Willis couldn't get away. Good pursuit there off the edge from number 95 there. I thought at first it was Kaz McFly, but it's Max Xavier with the tackle.
As I was saying, we really haven't seen what this offense can do, but we surely know Chicago's defense is going to need to tighten up because the Vultures offensively look unstoppable right now.
1:15 to go in the first quarter. 2nd down and 8 at the 31. King going long and into triple coverage. The pass nearly caught while on the ground. The intended receiver is J.C. Torres. That's his first target, a Week 4 signing. And now it's 3rd and 8.
Here's the main difference I'm seeing early, Cam, is that, with teams like Alaska and what we've seen from Baltimore early in this game, is that the passing plays specifically are leaving wide receivers open. Whereas Chicago's passing plays, they're asking their receivers to go get the ball and to make a play.
5 wide for King. Deep ball middle. That's trouble. Interception. And the pick is by Giovanni Bolt, Stephen, who leads the league in interceptions now with 8.
Yeah, certainly an unexpected but pleasant surprise, an MVP candidate here early in the year. 2nd year out of Carolina originally, has come in as a free agent and really transformed this secondary. 6'3", 215 pounds, big guy back there, and those sweeping arms grabbing that interception on the play.
Well, this is a nightmare for Chicago. I don't think many people expected this, as the Wildcats have really just played flat off the plane. Rolling, nice tackle there on Gaines. Gaines now just under 6 yards a carry. 2nd down and 9. Chicago 6 offensive plays in the first quarter, no first downs and a pick.
Well, giving credit to Chicago, Baltimore has been a different team every week. They seem to just be getting better and better and better under T-Pat's direction. And so you really don't know exactly what you're going to face, because you're going to face an improved squad.
Dazzo going long, cut at the 2-yard line. What a perfect throw to Shea Carroll. And it's another 1st and goal for the Vultures.
Well, look at this. Dazzo, the veteran, lofts the ball downfield with quality location, right where number 88, Shea Carroll, can grab that ball in stride. What a great play, individual effort there by Dazzo to really baby that ball down the field.
Carroll, he had a step on Hamrick, but he wasn't like super wide open. That was a perfect ball here as the first quarter's coming to a close. Dazzo trying to make it 20-0. He'll throw back across his body now to Gaines. Gaines will not be able to break a tackle and instead will lose 3 or 4 yards. And that brings us to the end of a dominating first quarter by the Baltimore Vultures, who are going for 3 straight victories. Fan Night returns in a moment on the SFL Network on Twitch TV, presented by APM Music. The Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, is brought to you in part by Show Business Studios, by MediaTek Institute, Richards Printworks, ScoreStream, and Spigo, the beautiful Baltimore, Maryland. And right now, it's all beautiful for the Baltimore Vultures. Start of the first quarter. Handoff to Gaines. Gaines, touchdown! And stepping over, Blake Hamrick on his way. Disrespectful, 20-0.
Cam, we talk about SFL running backs being built like a tank. That play is the very definition of that metaphor here. Roy Gaines able to really stave off his own blocker a little bit, shimmy over to the right, and then again we see him use that shoulder like he needs to register that thing as a deadly weapon, Cam, because he is killing people in there, particularly right at the goal line, to get in the end zone again.
101 bits from the kid from down south, 100 bits from Mark Lopez, and 100 bits from T. Paterniti. The extra point is good, and the Vultures are dominating. And a special shout out, speaking of ScoreStream there, heading back into the second quarter. Eric JDWA been doing a fantastic job keeping our score stream updated in primetime games, so I am able to focus on other SFL tasks like calling this game and giving some love to the chat room. So thank you so much, Eric JDWA, for all of your help on ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. Download on Android and iPhone stores today. Corey Carter on the return, and we still only have 6 plays from Chicago to now Baltimore's 25.
Yeah, and again, I think it comes down to the play calling. Chicago needs someone to step up here in their receiver core and bring down one of these E.T. King passes, whether it's accurate or not.
King's ball, far sideline, caught. Shann Varner's first catch and target of the day, and that's E.T. King's first passing yards after missing on his first 4 throws.
Well, that's a nice play here on first down. Getting your 5 yards. Obviously, you'd like to see the tight end actually pull that ball in and take it down the field a little bit, but they'll certainly take it as they've struggled with these 3 and outs here early.
Baltimore coming into the night is 2.5 games back of Queen City, but does own the tiebreaker. Deep ball, King almost knocked into the hands of Amon Takes, who nearly came away with the interception, 3rd down.
Well, undoubtedly, E.T. King is feeling the pressure here, down 21-0, having only run 8 offensive plays so far in this game, and we're still very early in the second quarter. You can already feel that the veteran quarterback is pressing, and boy, this is early to be doing that.
McFly on the swat, 3rd and 5 rather, at the 32. Blitz, King, incomplete! Had a man open, and again, misfires looking for Simons. That's twice now that Simons has had to dive for a ball that was too far out in front of him, and King is a hot mess right now. He's 1 of 6, and Chicago's punting again.
Well, an aspect we haven't talked about is the fact that Simons, it was a week 4 signing camp, so he's only been on the team for 3 weeks. Is that long enough to build chemistry with E.T. King? Clearly, there's a miscommunication there on that play, and the two not able to connect up.
They've found some moments, but Chicago's 2 victories on the season coming against Indianapolis and London, both teams that are struggling right now. Holder returns it out to the 30-yard line. Chicago did have a pretty strong showing against Queen City, but ultimately fell. That was on the road as well.
Yeah, and they're coming off a great win, Cam, against Indianapolis, 28-9. But they had a very balanced attack, 184 passing yards, 88 rushing yards. We're not seeing that balance here tonight.
10:21 to go in the first half. It is all, and I mean all, Baltimore here as Gaines off some pressure coming around that side, and Gaines gets his legs whipped out by Jesse Vick. And I tell you what, almost everything, Steven, exclusively is going left, and it's Vick, Spurgeon, and Rowland that have taken the brunt of that heat, whereas Hendershot and Barnes have been relatively non-existent here tonight.
And I like what I've seen out of Jesse Vick, the first round, 5th overall pick in the draft. The rookie, I think he's been doing a good job, but there's just too much to overcome here so far early.
Outside to Malone, picks up 4, just shy of the first down, 3rd down and 1 from the 40 as T-Pat does his best moonwalk impression on the sideline.
And, the Vultures have been a very balanced offense. Obviously, that first series and really for much of the night, Gaines has dominated on the ground. But on that last series, we really saw Dazzo and his cannon arm really be responsible for a lot of the yardage.
Handoff, Gaines, first down.
Wow.
And Hamrick gets plowed. 79 yards for Gaines, but it's how he's gotten those yards that's been more impressive.
For a lot of SFL running backs, bodies ricochet off them. For Gaines, he is like the reason. He is using his helmet like a weapon and really causing them to ricochet, just not because of his frame, but just because of his power.
9:05 to go first half. Baltimore dominating. Gaines again, and Hendershot says, "You will not break my tackle." One of the best and hardest hitters in the league. Hendershot brings him down after 4.
Yeah, just a nice job of the veteran linebacker there. This is his 4th season. Originally started with Carolina. But, the guy knows what he's doing out there. You got to have an experienced hand like him to try and calm the seas when they're so frustrating as they are right now.
Baltimore scored on every possession, gains more room, gains first down, takes 2 to bring him down. That was Spurgeon after Vick ricocheted to the Chicago 44.
Yeah, Chicago's defense is going to need to make some adjustments here to the left side of the line, because when Baltimore and Gaines look that direction, he's going untouched for a good 5 and 6 yards. You just can't allow that kind of production and think you're going to be able to stop them.
8:15 to go in the first half. Baltimore all over Chicago. The Wildcats do not have a first down. 8:06 to go. Handoff Gaines. Gaines breaks a tackle, and that Henders shot. I have a no. Check that. That's actually Robert Boucher Jr. And I have a feeling that Chicago's defense is getting a little sick and tired of this. They're starting to hit a little harder.
Well, Bobby Boucher there right on top of it, as the Gaines goes to his right. So going to the right here, Chicago's all over it. Going to the left, not so much.
Dazzo stepping up, hit as he threw, caught wide open, Money Malone, touchdown Baltimore, domination.
Unbelievable, Cam, unbelievable. And grant that, obviously Malone ran a great route, a post route down the middle of the field, but it was Dazzo's little move in the pocket right there that gave his receiver time to get that wide open. And that's a move that you just don't learn coming in as a rookie. Yeah, that's experience right there. And not to freak out and not to see ghosts and not to throw it away, but just make that subtle little move in the pocket, and it made all the difference.
7:34 to go in the first half, Stephen. I don't think I've ever seen a team score 4 touchdowns before their opponent got rolling offensively. And it's 28-0 Vultures on top of the Wildcats. And if there's anything you can't do, it's give up if you're Chicago. A lot of game left.
Yeah, you've got to figure if they can score 28 within this amount of time, so can you. But we just haven't seen anything from the Wildcat offense or defense. And neither on special teams. So all 3 phases are just not working right now. But you got to believe that Chicago still believes that they're in it, and they're going to do everything they can to get back in it.
So Baltimore's defense back out onto the field. Updated numbers for Chicago. King is 1 of 7. And Willis has had 2 carries, but for nothing, as they just have not been able to figure out how to get him going. 1st and 10 at the 27, although to be fair, he just hasn't had many opportunities. Handoff Willis. Willis picks up 3. That's his strongest run of the night. And Stephen, we've seen them, Joe Dazzo on the tackle, we've seen them run on first down, then sort of abandon it. I'd like to see him give it back to him here.
Yeah, try to build something consistent. You've said, E.T. King's 1 of 7. There has been no consistency in the passing game. But look, this formation particularly, they're investing a lot in the running game here. They've got to make their blocks.
And off again, and that gets 4 for Willis. That sets up a manageable 3rd down. And this is how you keep the game from getting even further out of hand. You keep your defense off the field and run some clock.
Well, you also have to hope that your defense is going to answer the call here at some point, because they have just let Baltimore run rampant all over them.
They give to Willis one more time. Yes, 3rd and 3. Didn't get it. Gain of only 1. And the takedown made by Courtney Kate, who we've seen a lot of. Really nice play out of Kate. And Chicago goes 3 and out for the 4th straight time.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing the strategy. I mean, they've tried to pass the game. It's clearly not working. The running game looked fairly good there until on 3rd down, where Baltimore really sniffed that play out and knew what they were going to do in that formation. Nearly blocked there, but yeah, everything is just going the Baltimore's way right now, which makes sense since they're at home. coming off a big win over London.
The Vultures at 3-3. Mentioned earlier, 2.5 games back of Queen City. That's important because the top 2 teams in each conference get a bye out of the wild card round. Stephen, with 6 games to go, 2.5 down, what do you think the chances are that the Vultures are able to catch Queen City?
Well, I love their chances. I mean, the way that they're playing tonight, they look unstoppable. Obviously, you got to consider the fact they're playing at home. You got to consider considering who they are playing and where the 2 teams are direction-wise. But I think it really comes down to who they have left on the schedule. You know, if they have to face some of the bigger names here in the SFL, we could see a pretty good battle between the 2. But here's the important point, Cam. Baltimore is no longer a team that you take for granted.
Chicago has been dominant at home. They have struggled on the road. 2nd and 7 at the 32. Handoff to Gaines, picks up a couple. But again, Boucher Jr. is there on the stop. So setting up a 3rd down and 5, Chicago just needs to build a little defensive confidence right now.
Yeah, and getting a stop here could absolutely do that. They need it desperately.
It's Dazzo out of the gun with 4 wide receivers on a 3rd down and 5. Gaines is off to his right, changing the play. Dazzo going to throw. Near side, caught. Oh, they gave it to him. Shea Carroll stretching out to get the 1st down. That's close, and if I'm Chicago, I'm challenging. I'm pulling out all the stops.
I agree. I didn't think they got it. They are going to challenge it. There could be a case made that Shea Carroll was able to twist his body and maybe get the ball over the line or near the line as he was going out of bounds. But from our vantage point, Cam, I didn't think he made it.
I didn't either. Let's get another look at it. Sometimes it helps. Yellow line is unofficial, and I think he got it, but I think he was out of bounds when he did get it.
After review, the call on the field.
And Shann Varner wins his challenge, and it's 4th down.
And I don't know if they're going to do it or not. And this side of the field, they're probably not. But I would look for them to either try to fake a 4th, like they're going for it, or actually go for it here. Why not? Up 28, you've got all the momentum. But here they're going to punt it, probably wise. I'm a little bit more of a risk taker because if you fail to get this first, if you would have failed to get this 1st down conversion, that gives all the momentum to Chicago there in almost scoring range. So, understandable punt.
This is Vic. That's out to the 29-yard line. 4:44 left to go in the 2nd. Chicago just looking for anything. And again, Stephen, if you can get 3 touchdowns in 2.5 quarters. Get yourself back in the game. I mean, why can't you? You've won a couple of games. I mean, that game against London, man, they just destroyed it. And E.T. King's been playing some good football. Handoff to Willis. Willis hit by Takes and did not move forward. Pickup of 2. And it's almost as if Chicago is playing within a shell of themselves. They are in this 3-back set quite a bit.
Well, I think what happened is they got burned early by going deep early. And we saw some really big passes by King. There just wasn't any connection there with the wide receiver. And now they've gone a little bit more conservative.
They'll spread it out a little bit here, but still run it to Willis. Willis' 5th straight carry, and Willis picks up 5, which will set up another 3rd down and 3, which is where they were on the last series. This, again, is Chicago's 5th offensive possession of the first half.
And, despite Chicago, basically winning their last 2 out of 3, this is a team that's still trying to figure out who they are. Let's not forget, their most lethal weapon, Jared Willis, just joined the team last week.
Handoff Willis, and Willis got nothing. In fact, they're going to get him for a loss of a yard. 0 first downs in the first half. And you got to believe, Chicago has been playing some good football, so you have to believe that it's all about Baltimore's defensive game plan here tonight.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention the same thing, that maybe we're not giving enough credit here to Baltimore's defense, and they have really just shut down anything that Chicago wanted to do. And when Chicago's had an opportunity to maybe complete a nice deep pass, they just haven't been able to connect.
This is Holder from the 25, and he got whacked at the 29-yard line. Just nailed. 3:12 to go in the first half. Chicago's defense did hold on the last possession. They're trying to keep this manageable. But
Yeah,
Baltimore, go ahead.
Excuse me. Go ahead. No, hey, anytime you stop speaking, I jump right in.
It's my fault.
I'm ready to go.
First and 10 at the 29-yard line. And Chicago just jumped in the neutral zone. Oh, my goodness. This is one of those burn the tape type halves.
Yeah, that definitely. This is one of those that you just try to forget like it never happened, but they just can't do that. They're right in the middle of this game, and as you've said, we've seen bunches of points scored before in this league, but just Chicago isn't showing the signs of a team that seems like they realize the situation. They just seem to be going through the motions, and boy, with it still being in the second quarter, you'd like to see a little bit more life, and maybe that's what we'll get after they get a lashing in the locker room at halftime.
Need some second half adjustments and need to not let this get any worse as T. Roy takes a handoff and gives another punishment and a pickup of 4, but again, because of the penalty, makes second and short very easy to move the chains.
And what helps is when you have a running back that's able to break that first tackle, Cam. We've seen it so much here in the SFL, is if you can get a back that can really punish that first contact, they always get those extra yards.
Gaines gets the first down, 2:40 to go in the first half, now 98 yards, 100 bits from Medam 96, and also I think I missed one. It must be a mirage, because I don't see it. Swole 2011 is hosting us now. Thank you, Swole.
Yeah, I'd break out that Urban Dictionary before saying some of those names, Ken.
2:15 to go in the first half, and Dazzo faced a little bit of pressure, dumped it off to Gaines, and Gaines finally got what was coming to him after laying out the entire Wildcat defense. That's Hendershot again, and we have reached the 2-minute warning. You are watching the SFL Network on 8 p.m. Music. On Twitch. Boy, everybody's having problems tonight, except for Baltimore. You're watching the SFL Network on Twitch, presented by APM Music. And Baltimore's got a 2nd and 9. And Gaines is going to be hit in the backfield and still got back to the line of scrimmage. Roland on the eventual tackle. Hey, if I'm ever in a position where I need somebody to go and handle some physical contact for me, I'm going to call T-Roy up and say, you need to take care of this guy for me. He's a security threat.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Hendershot-Boucher connection here for the Wildcats on defense, these guys are playing really well, and maybe their play will uplift this team.
Or not. Dazzo deep to Malone, first down to the 33. Malone's got 82 catches on 4 receptions, and Baltimore's back in the scoring range.
Well, that's a little bit unfair here. Malone going up against number 26, Jesse Vick, the rookie, and the Vick just dropping back there in coverage, and Malone with the nice little up and out route just gets wide open, just so fast, so quickly, and gives a big, nice open passing window for Dazzo.
First and 10 at the 33, 1:25 to go in the first half, 28-0. Back to pass is Dazzo. Dazzo going long again, end zone, incomplete. What a play by Blake Hamrick to knock it away from Shea Carroll. Otherwise, it'd be 34-0.
Well, I need to wipe my eyes a little bit on that one, Cam. Baltimore there, that's not many of those we've seen tonight, but just a nice job by Hamrick, really staying with Carroll. Carroll not able to get enough separation. And, Dazzo lays the ball out fine. It's just the fact that Hamrick had that catch-up speed to get up there and get his hands on the ball.
Pure 2K12 just subscribed with Twitch Prime. He was the featured player in the SFL Blitz Goes One-on-One Episode 1 on YouTube. Marcus Dunhill of Atlanta. Our next episode will air. It was supposed to air tonight. Slight delay. It will air as Chicago jumps off sides again. It will air tomorrow on YouTube. We're going to put that interview up and stream it live and all that good stuff. So look out for Tuesday content tomorrow on YouTube as the SFL Blitz goes one-on-one with Vancouver wide receiver Trevor Farrell, who's probably wishing that he was the target in the end zone yesterday as time expired.
Ooh, nothing like the dagger in the back.
It's not a dagger. If he probably would have caught it, is what I'm saying. He caught another beautiful touchdown catch earlier in the game for Farrell.
Undoubtedly wish that he was, but just not how things worked out. But, boy, what a game there right at the last second.
3rd down and 2 at the 25-yard line. 4 receivers for Baltimore. This has been, as that pass is caught for a first down by Holder, Stephen, this has been one of the most, if not the most, lopsided half of competition in league history. I mean, it is unfathomable what Baltimore has done here tonight in a fan night game that people voted thinking it was going to be a close game.
Yeah, and what a wonderful job, really coaching job that Baltimore's done so far offensively. And actually on both sides of the ball. Really, they have established their dominance early here at home. And a perfect example of that on the previous play with Daly Holder. That was the closest thing here that we're going to see to a rub route here in the SFL. Just Paterniti, the offensive coordinator and coach, able to scheme his receivers open has been a big key in the passing game for Baltimore.
44 plays to 15 plays for Chicago. As Dazzo's pass almost intercepted. Gaines still broke the tackle, but won't pick up the first down, and Baltimore's going to the hurry-up.
Yeah, that might be the difference in the game, is the fact that Gaines looked like he should have lost yardage there, still able to get something positive out of that.
Dazzo, end zone, one-handed catch for the touchdown, Money Malone.
Well, the pass thrown just a little bit behind Malone, but the athletic receiver able to lean back and grab it with one hand. Malone was sitting there cooking an egg, checking his watch, saying, "Hey, Dazzo, wide open over here. Give me the ball." And, boy, just look at the separation on the route there, Cam. Number 40 doesn't even have a chance there, Dylan Rowland. You put a linebacker on Money Malone, and he's going to cash in all night.
Well, what are we going to talk about in the second half if Chicago cannot fix the first half?
Well, I've heard some good things about the 100 on the CW. We could maybe
taking our pregame into the actual game here. 35-0. Baltimore. Chicago still looking for a first down. And this is as shocking as anything I have seen in a long time. It
appeared coming into this game we were seeing two franchises that were on the upswing. And I think that in our minds we thought that meant that they were equal. But certainly not after seeing what we've seen here in the first half. Things may be going right for both teams, but I think we're seeing which team is actually better. Now, give, the Chicago Wildcats, you got to give them a little bit of a break here because they are having to come in to Baltimore and to try and beat a really hot Vultures team. And as we've seen so far, that's not an easy task.
This is their only meeting with the Vultures as well, so critical in tiebreakers as King out to Simons finally makes a connection. That's a 3-yard pickup, and the first catch for Simons, J.C. Torres, has not caught a pass, and Dazzo has 212 yards passing.
And King has 8. I mean, the disparity, I can't even say the word. See, I get on these words, Cam. I try to say nay, and I'm fine with nay. But the difference between those two is just staggering. 212 passing yards to 8, and we just expect more from King, a guy that's been to the championship game.
Well, King trying to build some momentum before the half. Willis with the reception. Chicago will throw it up for Hail Mary. Maybe they can haul in a touchdown here just before the half. But a couple of back-to-back completions for E.T. King. That's more than he had the whole first half. And that, Stephen, is Chicago's first down. They got one just before the half, and you'll hold on to anything at this point if you're Shann Varner and the Wildcats.
Yeah, you have to take the positives where you can get them in a game like this. And, it's just a shame that they're not able to build on that because there's only 3 seconds left in the first half.
And actually, they won't go into Hail Mary formation. Instead, we'll just run the clock out, which why would you call a timeout if you're going to – I don't know. Willis loses a yard, and Takes and Kate combine for the stop. And that is the end of the first half of play. An unbelievably dominating performance out of the first half by the Baltimore Vultures. And Thomas Paterniti is apparently back. First half stats. What do you got, Steven?
Well, I mean, look, what can we say that we haven't already said about Baltimore? It kind of breaks my heart in the sense that I love this Chicago team. There are so many quality individual Chicago team that it just, you don't want to just mount on them. Trust me, I feel for this team and what they're going through right now. Look, I run Dallas, so clearly I understand the things that are happening tonight, but an amazing performance, obviously, by Baltimore in the first half. Mike Dazzo looking unstoppable, looking to unseat what he did last week when he threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Might even possibly, it feels like it could double it, but I think we're going to see a lot of T-Roy games in the second half. This is a classy Baltimore organization, obviously run by TJ and now T-Pat as the 2 T guys. Actually teed off tonight, but are both classy guys. And, they're not looking to run the scoreboard up on anybody, but tonight it's just been execution, and there just hasn't been any of that on Chicago's side of the ball, either on defense or offense, and the Vultures are running their game plan to perfection.
And Thomas Paterniti actually was just named co-owner of the squad last week, approved by ownership. So congratulations to Thomas Paterniti back in the league. He mentioned before that he probably would never be able to run his own team again because back when he did, it was a whole lot simpler and less to do. But certainly a huge part of Baltimore's turnaround here as they are trying to get their third victory in a row as we head back out to Vultures Stadium. This Baltimore organization very familiar with playoff success. The last 2 years of the Crabs failed to reach the playoffs. They've actually, it's kind of surprising, Stephen, that they've never been in a championship game before, considering all of their history. But Thomas Paterniti, obviously a 2-time champion with his days running Minneapolis and removed from the scene. The Vultures appear to be heading in the right direction as Carter returns out to the 29-yard line. All right, Stephen, second half adjustments time. Every night there's a chance to make history in the SFL, and Chicago has that chance right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and they just need just some sort of sign. Tell us, show us that this offense can come to life a little bit. If E.T. King can connect on one of these deep passes that he's been throwing, or maybe the running back Willis can get a long run like maybe here.
Willis breaks the tackle. Willis 40, 45, midfield to the 48-yard line. You called it, Stephen, as it was happening. Now up to 3.8 yards per carry, but more importantly, Jared Willis has given Chicago life.
Yeah, and give this all to Willis, able to break that first tackle, something that T-Roy Gaines on the other side of the ball has been doing nearly on every play. Willis here able to break that first tackle and get his best run of the night there down to the Baltimore 48 on the, nearing now, getting at least sniffing field goal range, what they haven't all night.
First down at the Baltimore 48-yard line for Chicago. That was plenty of yards on that carry, and now Willis is going to lose some more. Tony Willis with the tackle for loss in a backfield, a loss of 3.
Yeah, that time just not a good job by the other Willis, Jared Willis, but Tony Willis there able to dissect that play, falls back and covers a little bit, recognizes that it's a run, and able to shoot there to get the tackle, get into the backfield. So, what do we expect anything less from Tony Willis, honestly, after his big championship run last year?
King steps up in the pocket beautifully and then tried to squeeze that into Varner. Everybody is covered, Steven, and that was a heck of a job by King to at least give his receiver a shot.
Yeah, it seems like double or triple coverage anytime that King looks down the field. He's been able to complete a couple of those short outs, but Baltimore absolutely refuses to give him anything deep.
We haven't seen anything between 10 and 20 yards. Everything has been 20 plus or less than 10 for Chicago. No mid-range passing game tonight so far, as King will fire a launcher. Caught down the field by Carter. Willis on the tackle, but King put it right on the numbers for a first down.
Well, a wide receiver actually able to break free here and find an opening in the zone in Baltimore secondary, and King able to have the patience and the time that his offensive line gives him. A little bit maybe of a horse collar there at the end of the play, non-call, but just now we're starting to see signs of life, Cam, and those halftime adjustments are working.
First and 10 of the 26. Back to pass, King. King over the middle, caught. Near a first down. That pass is caught by J.C. Torres, his first catch, pickup of 9. And I believe Black Star 1014 is a Chicago player, although I don't know exactly who he's connected to just yet. But I have to commend him. He's the type of player that you want. He is still cheering on his team and thinking positive thoughts. And I love seeing that in the chat room out of players. 2nd and 1 at the 16. 2 in the backfield, handoff Willis. Willis made a man miss, broke a tackle. Willis down to the 11-yard line, 1st and goal. 2-minute and 15-second drive to come out in the third quarter, and Chicago has all the momentum here, at least over the last few minutes.
Well, if you're Shann Varner, you've got to be thinking, where was this in the first half? Well, somebody has lit a fire under this offense, and Willis there on that play. Great vision to cut back inside, get that first down.
Oh, it's Maurice Spurgeon who belongs to that username. King go to the end zone. It's incomplete. Tough play to bring in. That was Carter. Probably should have caught that ball. 2nd and 10 at the 11.
Yeah, if it hits your hands, young man, you got to bring that in, especially understanding the situation. Down 35-0 here in the third. You just got to – everything's got to break right for you in order for you to get back into this ball game. You can't drop passes in the end zone.
3 receivers. Simons is bottom of the screen. He is a big target. Handoff Willis on a trap. Willis pushes forward, makes 3rd down a little bit more manageable. As who was that on the tackle? That was, again, he's had a good night as well. I believe Xavier on the stop.
Yeah, Xavier actually had a sack in his last game. Actually, between him and Michael Wall, the defensive tackle, they combined for 4.5 sacks last week against London.
Press coverage on the line for King. 3rd down and 7 from the 8. They rush 4. King throws short. The defender fell over, and Carter is, check that. That is, who is that? Matrello on the reception on 4th and inches at the 1, Steven.
Yeah, Pete Lloyd, number 37, the cornerback out there, actually falls down on the play.
Go for it.
Not exactly sure what he was thinking.
Please, for the love of God, go for it. King with 3 in the backfield. 4th and inches at the 1. Oh, Steven, I don't know if Chicago's going to... Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Timeout,
Wow.
Wildcats.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Cam. Should have absolutely gone for that. At this point, what is there to lose? 3 points is really just not going to help you get back in a game where Baltimore's offense has looked unstoppable. Can't really trust your defense so much yet. So, yeah, that would have been a play where I'm calling Willis's number, sending those 2 blockers in the backfield, and I'm going to try and get him to dive into the end zone. Instead, looks like they're going to settle for a short gimme field goal here.
It's tough Den Nightwings in the chat says, I don't know, man. If they get stuffed, then it's over. Get some points. And I can see that, to give yourself some confidence. I don't know if it's also not giving Baltimore some confidence because they got the stop. And now maybe do not feel as threatened. But Chicago comes out of the first half break. They get a field goal on the board. And now they can try to get some momentum defensively with 7:10 to go in the third. Really solid drive for Chicago. And Carter nearly had the first down, but the game is a game of inches.
Yeah, I would think the argument to that is that we haven't seen that kind of momentum and consistency from Chicago in this entire game. And you want to build on that to really help your team getting to a good flow. And I think if you score a touchdown, it's not the moral drop that you get from having to settle for a field goal.
Well, let's see what a refreshed Baltimore Vultures offense looks like here in the second half. 35-3, 7:05 to go here on fan night, and the handoff goes to Gaines. Gaines cannot get away, picks up 4. Clint Hendershot on the tackle. 111 yards, 2 touchdowns for Gaines. Willis gaining on him after a good last possession.
Well, Gaines still looking to impose his will, and that furious running style still had the defensive back bouncing off him like Gaines had some kind of a force field, but just a good job there by the other defender to get a hold of the big man.
Handoff Gaines, and Gaines picked up and put down. That is a monstrous play there by Chris Sinereski, defensive end. And I got to say, Steven, I think that's the first time a defensive lineman has even had a chance at Gaines tonight.
Well, I think it was actually a Hendershot that came through and busted the previous block that was in front of him, and that busted block was really the reason someone was able to get on to Gaines that early. 3rd and 4,
Dazzo middle! He hung on. Yes, he did. Pass caught by the tight end, Edward Morgan, his first catch of the night, and Baltimore stays on the field.
Yeah, we'll give Morgan a raise because he had to make that catch amidst 4 different defenders. We've seen contracted star players not be able to hold on to that ball. Good job by Morgan.
3 receivers, 2 to the right, and a fullback also to the right. That's where they run, and Gaines is stuffed. And you could see, Steven, the second half adjustments. Paul Spears on the stop for Chicago, a 4-yard loss.
Well, these two tackles that I'm thinking of here that have been on Gaines, they've been because of busted blocks. And they're the defensive end just able to get around his block so quickly that he was in the backfield in a flash.
2nd and 14, Dazzo. Dazzo throws it out to Gaines, and Gaines is wrapped up. Hendershot and Rowland both getting there, no gain. Dazzo having a sensational night. And this is the critical moment for Chicago. That 3rd down has been the bugaboo for them, and they got to get off the field.
Well, you've got to think that they really were ignited by what they saw of their offense, and now there's hope there that their offense is actually going to support them, and now they've got to do their part.
3rd down and 14, out of the gun, 4 wide. Dime 3-2 for Chicago, back to pass. Dazzo looking for somebody to get open. It's tipped by Dylan Rowland. That was an athletic play by the linebacker, nearly intercepted, but Chicago doesn't quite force a 3-and-out, but they get off the field in 6 plays, and their offense can go back to work.
Well, you can't give Dazzo that much time in the pocket as his offensive line just gave him all day to find someone. But great individual effort there by the defender, able to tip that ball away and cause this 4th down. Momentum shifting now towards Chicago.
PB and Jotter asks why there's no Cam this evening.
Ooh.
Because you can't handle my bad hair day. That's why there's no Cam. Lord Veru doesn't like it, but Lord Veru doesn't like anything. 1st and 10 at the 22 for Chicago. 4:19 to go in the 3rd. Wildcats looking for some momentum. Also because he is shirtless right now. No, not that. 1st and 10. King, what a pass to Simons, picking up 5.
Yeah, appeared to be a little bit of a sidearm sling there. He just recognized how wide open Simons was and just flicked it with his wrist over there to him so he can get the quick 5-yard gain.
So King gets rid of that one. Nice play. Pick up a 5, and King stepping up. I thought he was going to run, but instead he has a wide open Corey Carter. Corey Carter, Stephen, has been the difference in this offense. They're finding him in the slot, short middle, and that is what has been open tonight.
Well, initially I think King was looking to the fade route over to the left, but was well covered by Baltimore, so he goes to his release guy on the drag route, which is Carter, right down the middle of the field, and ends up he's just wide open, gets that first down. And here we go again. Chicago's offense starting to roll.
3:30 to go in the third. 1st and 10 at the 41. Chicago going to have to get rolling a little faster if they want to try to make a comeback. And Kaz McFly says, I don't think so. 2nd and 10. Again, the passes on the outside have been over tonight.
Yeah, and this is Torres here on the outside running that route, just really telegraphing a little too much what he's going to do. And that left McFly right there just in perfect position to pick that ball off. If he can bring that in and keep his feet, that's a pick 6.
That's when you need an out and up on the next play, right, Stephen?
Right.
Just fool him. 2nd and 10 at the 41-yard line. 3:24 to go in the third. Chicago desperately trying to hold on to what little momentum they have after getting put in a 35-0 hole. Willis breaks a tackle. Willis picks up 5 to make it a more manageable 3rd down. Willis has been key in the 3rd quarter. Bolt with his 3rd tackle.
Yeah, and Willis does it just in a little bit of a different way than what we've seen Gaines do it tonight. You know, really more about being a more patient runner, kind of a Le'Veon Bell type style where he's looking for the openings instead of really hitting the hole with decisiveness. And I don't think it's been as effective.
3rd and 5. King, deep ball, overthrew Simons again. Unbelievable. They have not been able to connect, and he was open.
Yeah. A fade route run by Simons there. It's all about speed, and it's all about timing. And, you know, when you're going to release the ball that early, you just got to know exactly how fast your receiver is and kind of have a feel for who he is. And those two just haven't connected all night tonight. And I think it goes back to the fact that he's only been on the team for 3 weeks.
Fair catch called for at the 19. 2:45 to go in the third. Time running out on Chicago's slim hopes, but they certainly have played a much better 3rd quarter, actually outscoring the Vultures. They probably need a turnover here at some point to really sort of push them in another direction, as Corey Carter really has been the best player on the field tonight for Chicago. He's really been a problem for the Vultures here in the third. 1st and 10 at the 19. Just 6 in the box for Chicago, and the handoff goes to Gaines, and Gaines wrestled down after just 3. We've seen Chicago struggle defensively against the run, as mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Stephen, and you know, they don't stack the box as much as other teams do, and they've just been getting hats on hats tonight.
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job of blocking for Gaines, and Gaines has had the speed and the power to take advantage of it.
Handoff Gaines, and Gaines got smashed by A.J. Barnes. Welcome to the game, A.J. Barnes. Gain of just 1, 3rd down and 4 at the 25-yard line. The updated numbers from Gaines, thanks to Mark Lopez, our stat man tonight, 115 yards on 27 carries. And Baltimore tonight has now 54 offensive plays to Chicago's 33. It's starting to balance out just a little bit.
Yeah, the Wildcats defense has been holding Gaines in check here in the second half.
3rd and 4, Gaines, 1 man to beat. Will not beat him, not even close. Clint Hendershot on the stop. 3 and out, Baltimore.
Yeah, and we're seeing the veterans of this Chicago Wildcats defense starting to come alive, and it really started with Hendershot, and it's been Boucher. We saw Barnes get involved. We've seen Vick and Hamrack with some big plays. So the big names are stepping up here on defense, realizing they need to do something about this Baltimore offense.
1:15 to go in the third quarter from the 37. Vick out to the 42-yard line. Good field position here for Chicago. And we pause for a moment from a word, for a word from the SFL.
Want to do what I do? Contact me in the DM on Discord to find out how you can get involved with streaming live games, calling games, or breaking them down on the air with our broadcast team. Or help make our production even better by joining our new live stats team, helping our broadcasters shine brighter. We are #LoadingLegends in the SFL.
King is going to be sacked. First sack of the night for Baltimore, and the sack is registered by Carter Abraham.
Well, Abraham here able to really get his shoulder into the offensive lineman, turn that corner, and run right into King. King, no awareness in the pocket right there. Probably should have scooted up, but didn't see the defender right on top of him.
2nd and 16 now for King. He's going to go long. Simons caught it in coverage for a first down to the Vulture 40. Good to see that connection back on track. His third reception of the night.
Well, these two have struggled to connect all night, especially deep. But here, once again, a 50-50 ball thrown by King, really just saying to his receivers, go and get it, and Simon goes and gets it.
So 1st and 10 of the Vulture 40 coming up on the end of the third quarter. 4 receivers, 2 to either side for King. Willis is in the backfield, although I don't think he's going to be able to get much involved in this ball game just because of where the Wildcats are in terms of rushing. Willis with the reception picks up 4 and stops the clock. 2nd and 6.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays, Cam, that Chicago wasn't making at the beginning of this game. They weren't getting these short first down gains in order to make 2nd and 3rd down more manageable. And that's been a big difference.
That's the end of the third quarter. Fan night still very much controlled by Baltimore, but Chicago showing us something here in the second half. We're back after a word from our sponsors.
Show Business Studios can take your dream and make it reality. Any show, anytime, any place. Show Business Studios is limited only by your imagination. Find us at showbusinessstudios.com.
APM Music is the official theme music provider of the SFL. Listen to their Champions Will Rise soundtrack at apmmusic.com and visit their all-new esports landing page to find the best highlight music, heroic action, and epic sounds to boost the quality of your esports stream just like us. Log on to forum.apmmusic.com/esports for more information. APM Music, production music library and custom music house. The Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, is brought to you by Show Business Studios, MediaTek Institute, Richards Printworks, ScoreStream, and Spygoat. Start of the fourth quarter, 2nd down and 6 at the Vulture 36-yard line. And the handoff goes to Willis, and he nearly picked up the first down. Papa Joe Dazzo on the stop. Brings up 3rd down and 1 for the Wildcats. Who are all my Wildcats still in the chat tonight showing support and love for your team? Want to give you a special shout out because nobody likes a blowout. 3rd down and 1 coming up.
And Chicago showing signs. Let's see if they can convert this one.
Hand off Willis. Willis! And Amon takes. That's why you pick him 2nd in the draft. 4th and 1 at the 31. Great stop.
Yeah, terrific stop by Takes. And if you're Chicago now, 10 minutes here in the fourth quarter, looks like they're going to try and just settle for a field goal.
Auto JCG, Black Star 1014, Yadonsha. All involved here for the Wildcats. Field goal from 48 yards, and he missed it. Jesus Garcia misses the field goal just right.
Yeah, hindsight, obviously, you'd probably want to go for it there on fourth down.
Man.
And we were talking about Cam going for it back in the third quarter. So here in the fourth, it seems like a no-brainer to go for it there on fourth and down. But that's just not where Chicago's head is at right now. They should be feeling the pressure more than they are.
Dazzo out to Gaines, and Gaines puts another shoulder down. You know, Steven, Chicago, once they have a chance to digest this game, if I was on Chicago, I would take a look back and say, you know what, this was a night of missed opportunities. Simons could have had a touchdown on that pass that was overthrown by King. They had a 4th and inches at the 1-yard line. They could have punched it in, and if they would have extended that drive, could have gotten a touchdown there too. That pass is incomplete. Knocked away by Spurgeon. Good coverage on the outside, deep down the middle there. 3rd down and 5, but, I mean, really, Steven, you could be talking about a 35-14 game right now, and maybe not even a 35 game if Chicago grabbed a little more momentum in the first half.
Well, the Wildcats proved that offensively and both sides of the ball, but specifically offensively there at the beginning of the second half, that they can move the ball against this Baltimore defense. They just need to go back and find out what took place in the first half that caused them to be so stagnant.
That pass is dropped. Dazzo looking over the middle to the fullback, Chad Morgan, and Baltimore has to get off the field. Again, Chicago's outscored Baltimore 3-0 here in the second half, and all the first-teamers are still in the ball game here. And as we've seen in other games, there are many a times that second-half adjustments just don't happen, and teams just continue to take the lashing. But Chicago has not done that here tonight in the second half. From the 22-yard line, Vic Stutters out to the 25. The Week 8 slate begins Friday night right back here in Baltimore. The Vultures welcome in Indianapolis. And Indy, don't forget, almost beat Queen City. They had them on the ropes and really probably should have won that game. Lost 13-12 on Friday.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a different Indy team as well. Let's not forget they have a new offensive direction, and when you have somebody new, like very similar to what Baltimore has going on this season, when you get somebody in there that's new, you get an exciting new direction. You may bring in some new names, some new players, and suddenly you can transform your team to what some may have thought would be very average to what we're seeing tonight, which is super exciting.
Willis, no gain. Saturday night, a super matchup in the West, a very important one as the 4-2 Sioux Falls Sparrows take on the 3-4 Denver Nightwings in Denver as Willis picks up about 4. Nice tackle there by Bolt. The Sunday slate includes Oklahoma City at Dallas, both teams desperate for a win to turn their seasons around. Carolina heads to Chicago. The Wildcats have been vicious at home. St. Louis takes on London, both of those teams in desperate need of a victory. San Francisco is at New Orleans, 2 teams right on the fringe. New Orleans playing better football, got the upset on the road in Houston. 3rd down and 6, we'll get to the rest of the slate after this first down completion to Shann Varner, his second catch. Vancouver is at Las Vegas. That's another critical matchup there in the Western Conference as they battle for wild card seeding. Houston goes to Tulsa. Tulsa has won 3 games in a row and now just a half a game behind Houston. Alaska goes to Mexico City, and that currently is slated for the Sunday afternoon slate, although it could get fan night, but there's plenty of games to choose from. McFly on that pass deflection. And then rivalry night is Queen City at Atlanta, and when those 2 teams get together, it's always a fun one.
Yeah, for my money, Cam, I'm really psyched for that Houston at Tulsa game. You know, Houston, having been defeated by New Orleans, as you mentioned, can they get back on the horse against the Tulsa team that's red hot right now?
7:47 to go in the 4th, 2nd and 10, and the handoff goes to Willis. It would appear that Chicago has conceded this game just a bit. Kate on the stop, and they'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, I think the argument can be made they conceded this game at kickoff just based on how Baltimore really just came out and just did anything and everything that they wanted. And now we can see that they've, really taken the foot off the gas a bit here and not taking anything away from Chicago and what they've been able to do here in the second half. But clearly, they haven't we haven't seen the presence of Gaines and Dazzo like we did in the first half.
Press coverage, and nobody could get open, and that pass to Simons on the sideline I think would have been out of bounds even with the catch. So Chicago's going to have to punt it away, and for all of the good that Chicago did in the third quarter, it just wasn't enough here tonight, but still playing tough with 7:12 to go. Chicago falls to 2-4. They have a somewhat manageable schedule remaining. They're at Indianapolis in 2 weeks. They have not ever been beaten by Indianapolis. They've won 3 consecutive since the Red Devils came on board. Then they host St. Louis, then at Carolina, which obviously is a difficult matchup. 2 games against the Skyhawks in 4 weeks, but if anybody knows James Klein, it's Shann Varner. And then they finish up at St. Louis and hosting Queen City. So certainly not out of it at all if you're Chicago, sitting at 2-4 in an Eastern Conference where it would appear after tonight you're battling with teams like Baltimore and other teams from around the league for wild card positioning.
And let's not forget, Cam, they're a beast at home. I mean, they love that home cooking, and it's something about away games that just really does not work with them right now. So, even though they are facing some of the bigger names like Carolina and Queen City, with Carolina they're facing twice, as you mentioned, even though those are some of the bigger names and some of the hottest teams here in the SFL, you come into Chicago, you never know what's going to happen.
Dazzo, all kinds of time, but it's breaking down, and Dazzo finally got it away, and it's caught on the sideline. That pass caught by Edward Morgan, his second grab, and great job by Dazzo making that play happen.
Yeah, and Morgan's second grab for a first down conversion. It looks like Dazzo has a little bit of a security blanket there with the tight end and looking for the big man's number when he needs a big play.
Mike Dazzo now 25 of 30 tonight. Gaines has been completely ineffective in the second half. Now 120 yards on a whopping 28 attempts. 91 yards for Malone, 86 for Carroll as both approach the 100-yard club, but they're going to have to do it in a hurry. I expect the backups will come in the next couple of minutes as Chicago tries to get off the field again. Baltimore scored touchdowns on their first 5 possessions and have been locked out of scoring since. Gaines, no gain. Tackle made by Dylan Rowland, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, honestly, a little bit surprised, Cam, that Baltimore starters are still in the game. I fully expect them to be swapped out here probably in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, I mean, I really kind of want to talk about the Vultures and who they have coming up, Cam, and a little bit about their past and their exciting new direction here after this play.
Dazzo fires it complete, but that's well short of the sticks. Daley Holder with his 5th catch. And really his 4th. He took one away from T-Roy there at the beginning of the game. But, yeah, making it happen for the Vultures, but they'll have to punt it away.
Well, Baltimore, they had so much success as the Crabs here in the SFL. If I'm right, 6 straight playoff appearances to start the franchise, and then the last 2 not making the playoffs. But there's always been a sense, Cam, whether that be with the Crabs or now the Vultures, that they're a team that's next year's champion. Like they've always just almost been there, good enough to get to the playoffs, never been to the championship game, and that they've maybe been missing an element. Well, that missing element could very well be Thomas Paterniti, and him able to maybe get this Baltimore group and TJ and his bunch over the hump for the first time, certainly seeing signs of greatness here in this game.
Stephen, how important is a coaching staff to an organization? Because Baltimore at the beginning part of the season, They just looked a little lost as that pass is caught. What a move by Varner. Varner makes a man miss. Shann Varner is going to score. One of the best plays in Varner's illustrious career, and that was pretty from number 88.
Let me remind folks here, Shann Varner here, a 6'6" tight end with this nimble move. Check this spin out right here.
That was on Bolt.
Boy. And that's on an MVP candidate. Absolutely right. And 88, look at the Jets outrunning number 89, wide receiver J.C. Torres. Again, folks, that's a tight end making that athletic move.
So Chicago finally gets that touchdown they were waiting for. And again, Stephen, what could this game have been? The overthrow to Simons, the 4th and inches at the 1-yard line. I mean, Chicago has blanked the Vultures here in the second half.
Yeah, it's and games that come down to this, it's often, leaves the losing coaching staff, the defeated coaching staff just scratching their heads like, we looked so good in spurts, what happened? And why weren't we more consistent? Me as the offensive coordinator and owner for Dallas had that exact same question this weekend as we played Tallahassee, and we looked good. We scored an opening touchdown, and then that Tallahassee Pride offense just rolled us, and we couldn't get anything going offensively. And it's one of those things where you prepare all week, you believe you have a solid game plan, you're working it out in practices as that onside kick is recovered there by Baltimore. And then at the end of the game, you're scratching your head because you put in what you believe is just as much work as the other team, but it just didn't work the way that you thought it would. And I think that speaks to how much game planning goes into it, but also how much player progression goes into it, and these players practicing throughout the week and getting better and better and better and working towards their strengths. They all combine in this mishmash of sometimes you never know what you're going to get. And I think, games like this that Chicago's having kind of take solace in that fact that there are some times when the game just gets away from you and you just have to forget it and go on because it isn't saying anything about what you're doing.
100 bits from Ram Voice in the chat. And Stephen, what I was going to ask earlier before Varner's touchdown is how vital is a coaching staff that is able to sort of get it to click or figure it out to an organization, because obviously T-Pat and TJ have never really they haven't worked together since season 3 when they went undefeated in the regular season and then were upset in the first round of the playoffs by San Francisco as Gaines gets another carry. But they seem to work together. It seems to be a very positive and beneficial symbiotic relationship. And the only two games they've lost together is the playoff game against San Francisco, which ironically, Daley Holder is now a player on their team as a wide receiver since he was the owner of San Francisco. And then the first game they had when Thomas Paterniti just walked in the door at Indianapolis, which was a beatdown. So anyway, back to the question: how critical is it that teams figure out how to get it to click?
Well, certainly critical, just for the success of your team. But let's remember this: that T-Pat did not join this team until I think week 3, maybe week 4, maybe even later than that. But the fact is, and it still holds, that he didn't have any impact on the team build. Like, he didn't have any say on how this team was constructed. And yet he's been able to come in and really turn this team around without any personnel changes, purely through the playbook. And so, that should give you an idea of what can be done, regardless if you have what impact you have on roster building. That you can come in and tailor a playbook that builds on the strengths of who you have.
3rd and inches, and the handoff. Backups are in now. Chicago's going to burn a timeout, and one more first down to the 3 for Baltimore will end the game and preserve Chicago's second half shutout. And then you look around the league, like a Carolina, or like a Tulsa who's won 3 in a row, and you see that teams can very easily turn things around. They can find what works, and then all of a sudden it's like magic, and things begin to gel and mesh, and teams that were 0-4 can win 3 in a row, and teams that were 1-5 can make the playoffs, and you just see that happen all over the league every season.
And you see the opposite too, Cam. You see teams that have been to the championship game, like Chicago, like Dallas, make a few changes here, do a little something there, and they can lose that formula. They can lose their way, whether that be through team build or through someone new getting a hands on their playbook or trying to make changes to make themselves more successful. They can lose the magic formula too. So it works both ways, and that's the constant beauty and the battle that you're fighting as a coach. You're always trying to wrangle and capture this lightning in a bottle, and if you're not careful, you can lose it.
3rd and 8 at the 11, and it looks like Baltimore's going to throw. That is the backup quarterback, Adam Jefferson. And Jefferson going to the end zone, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by A.J. Barnes, and Chicago preserves the shutout in the second half.
Well, A.J. Barnes, I'm sure they're just itching to try and get something done here in this game, and able to get probably one of the more athletic interceptions that you'll see there in the end zone, as he really had to high point that ball. Kind of looked like a wide receiver doing that. But as for the Baltimore, getting your second string guys in is important, because you never know when you're going to need to turn to these guys during the season, getting them some experience, seeing maybe what they're good at, what they're not good at. Like, there's probably an example of what that quarterback is not good at. It's important for later on down the road.
King sacked, loss of 6 yards. Not much he could have done about that. Quick pressure up the middle. Chicago trying to get some more points on the board, this time in garbage time, as that throw is caught for a first down. That's the fullback, Alfonso Freeney. He's got some wheels on him.
And boy, Cam, they're doing late in these games in a blowout like this. This is where you really see the difference between first-team talent and second-team talent. And that, I even mentioned to you before the game, Dallas would be undefeated if all we played was second-teamers on defense.
Well, and that's the flip side of that, right, Stephen? Is it's not all about the playbook, because clearly, if you don't have the talent in the right positions and in the right situations, you're a bad team.
And all works together, right? And you can't, and you don't, and no one knows. Not even Eric Barkley, 4-time champion, knows exactly how the connection of progressed players and a playbook and how they play on the field and the random things that happen in the game, how that's all going to work together and how that's all going to work out in the outcome.
And I think as King's pass is caught, that's a first down. Carter, look at him turn on the Jets. Corey Carter down the sideline. 10-5, touchdown Chicago. And the Wildcats have certainly made this last fourth quarter entertaining, as they have scored 16 unanswered. And again, Stephen, you really could see the difference as Carter's speed off the charts.
Yeah, that looks like 4.3 speed right there, Cam. And boy, it's just a simple little deep out there, and you can see the separation. And then, as you mentioned, the boosters on this kid, just to hit full speed and get there and outrun all these red jerseys. But again, those are second teamers, but you got to take whatever hope that you can pull out of this game if you're Chicago. And boy, it's just nice to see your top receiver there pull off a really nice play.
Just before we're off the air, Vancouver Legion wants to know if he wants to hear your thoughts on the Vancouver-Alaska game. What you thought about it?
Oh, I was only able to catch the back end of that game, the most exciting part, really. And I thought it was wonderful. I mean, look, no one's really threatened Alaska the way that Vancouver did, and I think that says more about who Vancouver is right now and what they're becoming. And anytime you can go toe to toe and nearly beat the defending champion, you got to feel good about your team's trajectory. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
The onside kick recovered. That's the second consecutive onside recovery for Bishop Warfield, the backup receiver. And shrugging it off, Neil Patel says, well, I didn't want it anyway. And Baltimore's going to take a knee here. I got to say, I've seen a lot of SFL games. We're nearing our 800th game, Steven. I don't think I've ever seen a team get whipped, and they did. You know, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything. They did get whipped in the first half, as bad as Chicago did, and turn it around and play as good as they did in the second half.
Yeah, Baltimore really put together a perfect first half. I think if you're the Vultures, the second half has to worry you a little bit. You know, if Chicago makes just a couple more plays here and there, then this starts to become a competitive ball game again. But for that first half, Cam, Baltimore looked every bit as good as some of the top teams here in the SFL. They looked like an Alaska. They looked like a Tallahassee. And boy, that means dangerous things, I believe, for this league. Second half, sure, something to work on, something to work toward. But so far, you know, this is 3 in a row for Baltimore, and this Thomas Paterniti offense and coaching is really clicking.
Baltimore now 4-3. They'll host Indianapolis next week. Then they go at Queen City in a revenge game for the Corsairs. They follow that up with a couple of games hosting Dallas and at London, trying to avoid falling asleep towards the end of the season and getting upset by some teams towards the bottom. And then October 7th, last week of the season, a rematch. Baltimore hosts the currently unbeaten Carolina Skyhawks in a rivalry game that may have some of the biggest epic proportions in a final week of SFL competition at the top of the standings that we've seen in quite some time. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, you know, I can't wait. You know, I don't know if Carolina get there and just how good this Baltimore team is. But boy, I'd like to have that game tonight if possible. But look, this is going to be a real successful Vultures team as long as this guy T. Roy Gaines keeps doing what he did tonight. 142 yards, 2 touchdowns, most of that in the first half. The guy looked absolutely unstoppable. And here he is, the MVP of the game, 33 attempts, 142 yards, 22 receptions. He also had a receiving touchdown, so 3 total touchdowns. Absolutely terrific game for him. And boy, he looks every bit to be a dominant SFL running back tonight.
Thanks to Markham Lopez on stats and Stephen Mullenax in the booth. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. I am Cameron Irvine. Week 7 is in the books. That means we have 6 weeks left of the SFL regular season before the playoffs kick off Wednesday, October 10th with Wild Card Wednesday. Say goodnight, Stephen. Wave goodbye.
Wave goodbye.